Welcome everybody. A settling period, a joining across time and space, each in our own time and space. In this moment, this appreciation, this sense of here. You can have your cameras on or off. If you're reasonably still, it's fine to have your camera on. If you move a lot, you might find the moderator turning you off. Because this is a settling, an encouragement for recognizing and appreciating the silence and the space and the awareness, the knowing of this as it is, the knowing before thought, it allows thought. Remembering, recollecting, reconnecting these suggestions, this knowing, this well-being that is inherent in life. Life is a seeking of the best we possibly can, that life possibly can, and humans, the possibility of complete liberation. It's the best that we can wish ourselves, but just reconnecting with life. And this breath, the gift of life. And in breath, received. The out breath, released, offered. And the rhythm appreciated. The rhythm known. In this knowing, resting. Awake. giving, giving this time, sharing, and giving attention, receiving life. Your breath. The whole of the body breathing, the whole of the breath in this experience. The resting, a reconnecting, recollecting, a gathering, and a knowing, knowing of this experience, this life. this gift received and given, a gift of life, gift of awareness, gift of knowing, in this appreciation. It's like this. This breath, this moment, this experience. And there's the knowing. Knowing, this knowing. And knowing the ending of something, knowing the ending of a period of formal meditation, and just giving some moments like this. The ending is like this. The recollection of the ending, the period of time, the memory, not dismissing that as something false, but recognizing it for what it is and its incompleteness. The memory is just that much. The effect now is like this. It's an ending and it's a beginning. A beginning on today, the 3rd of December, 2021. The opportunity to reflect on the Dhamma with these people who are listening, and then whoever listens in the future, wherever they are, and how this perception works. And with the meditation to give it the care, the formal practice, the care and the effort that is commensurate or supports that cultivation and cultivation of awakening, and the cultivation of knowing, cultivation of care and attention to this moment. For the intention is to understand, to really allow the understanding of the way the separation, the complexities, the frustrations, the uh, unpleasantness, the ups and the downs, the rhythms, the nature of this whole business, this strange experience of life. Because that's what we've got. And it is so precious. It is so powerful. And humans are these cause creators. we do things, and the sacrifices that are possible so that the life is sacred and valuable and worthwhile and gives is a gift, is a true gift, the giving of life to life, so that there are aspirations, there are things that are choices to be made, and there are things that are skillful and there are things that are unskillful. There are things that increase the sense of strain and stress and complication that which are not necessary. The fact and the experience of this whole thing is going to be like this. It's going to be a strange and uh, stressful business being alive, because this is the nature of it. But humans can not do things that make the whole thing more entangled, more complicated, more stressful for themselves and for others. It's not that there aren't complicated and difficult things that can be done and will actually benefit, but there are also things that need not be done and can be abandoned, just not fed. So that when we come to the meditation, then there's a breath, there's an in breath, and there's an out breath. If there isn't, then we're in big trouble. Better call the ambulance. But it's a breath, and then how are we? And what is our intention? What is the unconscious intention behind all of this? What is the conscious intention? How do we allow the unconscious to be conscious? No, the unconscious is slightly deadened in some way. And I feel that life, it's like wishes itself the best. It really strives to do the best it possibly can within whatever limitations it finds itself in. And when we come to sit meditation, just the sitting, or if we give ourselves a form of walking meditation, we can do the same things. But this sense of reconnecting with life, the sense of well-wishing that comes with this, to understand what it is. And then when the stopping and the sitting meditation, it's like, okay, I'll give myself this. I'll give the world, the universe that I live in, this time and this space, the sense of awakening, the sense of wishing well, a sense of really interest in understanding. And there's the breath. It comes in and goes out. It's long or it's short, and the body is like this. And then allowing the natural business of breathing to reveal the nature of it all, the rhythm of it all, the uncontrollability of it all, the ups and the downs, the in-breaths and the out-breaths, the inspiration and the desperation, and the exhalation and the expiration, the whole gamut, the whole spectrum, the whole of life. The whole of the breath, the whole of that suggestion that the whole of the breath can be experienced. And the calming that is natural, the meditation is a natural business. It's an inviting and beautiful business of work that each moment can be enjoyed and appreciated. When the calming and the appreciation and the sense of ease that comes from that, this is okay. That's a when practicing the meditation, if there's a sense of I've got to get this, I've got to get rid of this, I can't get concentrated, I don't know what's going on. Is my back hurting? What's happening here? And I can't follow this. All of this, it's fine actually. It's not a problem. It's just a pattern and a habit in the mind that if it's happening and there's the breath happening and there's a sense of appreciation of this, that's just mental chatter. And naturally, then that can also be not so important because the tone of the heart, the knowing is known. This is how it is. And that's what's not thinking, what's not getting caught in the chatter. There is the chatter, there is the busyness and the busyness. That's like, but it's not. It'll naturally calm as the knowing is appreciated more. The fact that it is possible to know. There's, it's possible to know, and that's a stunning thing. We're not dead yet. It's amazing. And so each moment that we're not dead yet is actually pretty amazing because it's very, very precious. However difficult it may be, actually extremely precious. And then naturally the sense of lifting of the heart is allowed. Naturally, this meditation is a natural thing to do. It's not somehow weird, or it's maybe not common, but it's perfectly natural. Um, and that's something to appreciate. And it's actually quite important. It's this practice of stopping being caught in just endless trying to get comfortable or trying to get rid of, getting restless, switching off, just blotting out, or just the sense of, oh, I don't know what to do. these are these are the hindrances for clear appreciation. These are the hindrances for, and this the stopping of it, and the sense of oh, interest. This is what's happening. Is a way of lifting the heart and calming it, and then, hey, these things, they're not always there. They're not the whole picture. They're not the most important thing. These things that appear so important when they really, when we get sort of lost in them, the sense of I need this and I want this and I want to get rid of this, or just what's the next thing, or goodbye cruel world. I just hide under the bedclothes, cover up, shut it all out, block myself out in something, or just get caught in I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. And being caught in that, it's not that any of these things are wrong. They're not wrong. They're just the way that it is, and the perspective can shift so that they're not the most important thing that's allowed to be awakened to. The most important thing to be awakened to them is that they are not always there. They shift and they change, and they have an edge. And there is that knowing of them, which is not thinking about it or trying to get rid of it. There is the space and the silence of the heart, and they can end. There is an ending that allows, is actually the most important thing, the primary thing. And that attention inwards, that noticing of the noticing, the noticing of the noticing, the awakening to the sense of being awake. It's a release. Well, it's the unchaining, the unraveling, the untangling, the uncoupling, the freedom. Practiced, and the sense of being familiar with it, a sense of wanting to live in the places where there's no rejection, living in the places where there's a real effort to ease stress in the present moment. and in the future. You know, and dwelling in the sense of appreciation and joy that comes from that, and the noticing of that, and the consciousness of that. In the stillness and the sensitivity, in the stillness and the sensitivity of serenity. And that's our the best place to live. It's our natural dwelling place of humans. If they're working according to their design capabilities, if they're working according to their manual, humans are happiness creators. They have the incredible power to ease suffering now and in the future, and do things for themselves and others that do that. I mean, that's the that's the miracle of a human birth, because it is incredibly strange. Yes, we really don't understand it. And if a miracle is something that we don't understand the real mechanisms of, that's it. You know, there's the whole sense of the awakening of the Paticca. You know, the question is, why is there death? Because that's the real question. What happens when we die, and what is death? And death is a result of ignorance. Death is ignorance. Death is not knowing. Death is not awakening. Death is all of that. The whole not understanding how that whole mechanism and not works, and getting caught in the believing it, the sense of split, the sense of where is it that the whole thing, but where is it that there's no death? Where is it there's no, if there's no, there's not going to be death, there has to be no beginning. So knowing that, the knowing and the awakening to that is a gateway to that, is this knowing, the knowing that we know. And the rest of it can follow from that, the sense of knowing this heart. And a breath, a sitting meditation in a breath there's a beauty and an ease to that when it's appreciated for what it is. I do encourage meditation and giving time and giving effort to this and receiving the benefits, which is tested in daily life. In daily life, when there are strong habits in one's life and strong habitual tendencies and strong perceptions of things and strong things that keep happening to one, and habitual reactions, then how is that, how does that work? And if they're unskillful, how does that work? Strong senses of taking things personally, and it's my problem, and it's something that I have to get rid of and I have to deal with. And when it's all bound up with the sense of mine and I and me. And that's the real problem. And then the other, the other way that this gets projected is it's your fault. It's somebody else's fault. And so, this is making me suffer. And this way of meing and mying and eyeing, and the importance that one, because that's where it starts to get really painful, doesn't it? It's around the sense of me and I and mine. And then you get to the sense of, well, I should get rid of the sense of I. That really makes it complicated. Because that's not going to work, is it? That's another ridiculous wormhole that we get into. So I have to deal with my problems. And my problems are you that are making me suffer. There is no way out there. That's not a way out, trying to solve it on that level. Just an endless entanglement. But I need to do something, yes. Stop. Meditate. Take a breath. Give a breath. Receive a breath. Give attention. It will end. It's not always been that way. Yeah, life is like this, and humans are like this, and the sense of I is like this. So the, the sense of I, the sense of having enough is important. The sense of generosity is important. The sense of being able to give a moment is important. The sense of not having anything to hide and not being harmful to others is important. The assumption that in that practice and doing of something that's skillful, there will be good results. That's a useful and fair working assumption. And then cultivating the sense of, "Oh, this is what's happening now. This is the movement of the body now. This is the way things are now." And the freedom of this present moment, this time and this space, which each of us is like this. I can't actually share your time and space, not in time and space. That's necessarily separate. The sharing of can only happen, really, the true sharing can only happen in the sense of, it's like this. This is, in the awareness that it is completely embracing. So I offer this for your consideration this evening, the complete embracement. And I'm not trying to give you all a hug. Thank you for listening. And if you have questions, um, please offer them and we'll see what we can do. good to see you all. At least the names on the screen. I can see some of, I can't see all of them. They're slightly covered by bits and pieces. And if you need to leave, that's fine. If you have questions, please offer them. And I'll try and respond. And if you want to turn your cameras on, please do. If you don't, that's fine. Why do we feel the need to express our feelings sometimes, especially when feeling mistreated? And it's not wrong to express your feelings. That's not wrong. It's how you express them that's possibly either skillful or unskillful. It's not to say that one shouldn't have feelings. And it's natural that if one feels hurt, there's going to be a sense of wanting to defend something. And that's the nature of this sense of separation. And now, how can we defend without harming? And a sense of, and if we are being mistreated, then certainly defend yourself. No, and if you need to call the police, call the police. don't be a victim in this. There's no need. Yeah, we don't like, this the sense of we like praise and we don't like blame. It's the nature. We like gain, we don't like loss, unless it's gaining weight, maybe. it's for some people, it's a good thing to do. So gain and loss, praise and blame, pleasure and pain, fame and disrepute. These are the worldly winds, and it's not that they shouldn't be anything than what they are. Oh, but we don't need to be. If they're hard to take, then they're hard to take. That's all. It's not. They're supposed to be like that. And thinking that we don't want to be blamed, or we shouldn't be affected by blame. That's blaming ourselves for being affected by blame, and then we add to the blame. Yeah, it's fine to be affected by blame. It's fine to like praise, but let that not be reflected in how you don't cause harm. If, as little as you can, cause harm to others. So, don't blame yourself for not liking to be blamed, because that's harming yourself. And if others blame you, if it's not fair, then if you can respond in a way that is helpful, then do so. But if you can't, then you can't. That's the nature of things. And sometimes there'll be ways that people blame you that are not fair. Because life on the level of worldly things is very, very unfair. It's not supposed to be otherwise. It's the nature. We don't need to care less. And questions about knowing and awareness. Yeah, well, and consciousness, knowing, awareness, and consciousness. it, then they are slightly slippery terms. They're not clear scientific formulae and clear terms that always mean the same thing, and then there's a switch across translation and languages. In Pali, there's mano, chitta, and vijnana, which are sometimes all translated as mind. And then there are, in vijnana, which is usually consciousness, there's a sense of splitting sometimes. And so in sense consciousness, there's this sense of, of separation. But the consciousness that is anidasanang, or uh, uh, undifferentiated, is or consciousness as an element in the sixth element, is a different term. Insofar as it's the aspect of consciousness that you can notice is that consciousness splits and it also joins. When you're conscious of something, there's a joining to it. And consciousness in this sense is what makes the rest possible. It makes time and space possible. It makes the content of time and space possible. So that's the consciousness, and awareness is the sense of knowing, and that's sometimes, and the quality of that knowing is sometimes that's sometimes a way of talking about chitta. Chitta is like the way that the mind, or the tone of the mind that receives or is present, and they thought about chitta. And then, so knowing that, and the jit hen jit, it's the knowing of the knowing. It's a sense of the knowing of the quality of this knowing in this moment. Is a way of talking about practicing the Eightfold Path, because in mano, in the other aspect of the mind, it's the intentions and the thinking part of the mind, and that has some connection with actually the term man and human. It's the bit that that we can that humans are powerful at, which is intending, and that's to do with the chaitana and the kamma that we make, the intention. So those are, and there is sometimes some slipping and some confusion over those terms, and sometimes when I'm using them, I'm not incredibly clear about which one I'm using at which time. So I hope that helps a bit. There are these three terms, and then trying, as some people have tried to do, even through the scriptures, the Buddha didn't use those three terms consistently in the same way all the time. So you can try and make lists and lists of what mano, chitta, and vijnana are, and you won't find consistency. So that's the nature of it. It's the nature of language that it's imperfect, and that's how it works. So consciousness, the consciousness of the five khandhas, form, feeling, perception, conception, and consciousness. The consciousness there is about sense consciousness, and that's the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And then, as the scientists talk about, the sense of space, the sense of whether you're upright or not upright, and they go through many different types of ways that there are senses. And that, in any sense, if there's awareness of it, that's the consciousness. So I'm not sure whether that's more confusing or less confusing, but it gives an idea of the complexity of the term. Sorry if that was all a bit quick, but it's it's an interesting um, area of investigation, but it's all a bit up in the air and thinking about it. And I apologize if I'm not always incredibly clear. But the sense of knowing how the heart is where the practice can lead to liberation. And that's a intention that's turned inwards. So that's not even using the either any of the words. Intention that's turned inwards leaves out um, knowing, awareness, and consciousness. So, intention inwards, just to bypass all of them, so that the intention is attentive to what is happening here in this moment, in this particular time-space continuum that we call me here now, which is really strange. Yeah, I hope that helps Francisco also, because yeah, one can debate a lot about consciousness. In terms of sati and satipatthana, in terms of mindfulness and samma sati, the seventh factor of the Eightfold Path, it covers all the areas where attention can be given. You know, the body doing it, all the different things that it does, the whole aspects of the body, and the impulses of the heart or the senses, either towards or away something. Uh, what they call Vedana, which is a basic impulses, and then the way that the heart is, and then the practice of the attention to Dhamma, the attention to the hindrances, the attention to uh, the, the joy, the factors of enlightenment, attention to the path and the fruit. So those are, if you want to know what to give attention to, then give attention to the satipatthana, the fields that are worth cultivating. A lot of words in that last answer. I apologize if that's too quick. I do appreciate the teachings of the Lord Buddha, and I do appreciate the aspects of it. I don't study it in great detail nowadays, in theory, but I'm always impressed by it and reflecting on it.